Welcome back, you guys. Welcome to the Art School Graduate Podcast. Today's guest is building more than just a brand. He's creating a movement. He is the co-founder of Pirate Worldwide, where they bring together fashion, storytelling, and culture. And mind you, he's one of the few that are out here using Adobe AI to flip its whole creative game on its head. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest today is Bryan Bonilla. Bryan, how are you doing, man?
What's up, Justin? I'm doing good, bro.
No
How
problem.
are you?
I'm good, man. And it's kind of funny for a few people that may not know the story, but I've known Bryan going back to high school. He was he was a freshman when I was a senior, right? When we were right.
That might, yeah, that's right.
I
'Cause
was
you're of
05.
okay, yeah. I think there might have been going into to Diamond Ranch during that,
Yeah.
but it might have been in 8th grade.
Yeah.
But yeah. We knew each other because of bro. You guys had such an amazing football team. That class was packed with star power, and we idolized you guys. Honestly, I've been playing football since I played football starting at the age of 12. So we kind of just idolized you guys, and yeah, it was crazy the standard you guys set for us, I guess.
Oh man, you guys carried it. Y'all went further than we did. So listen, my hat's off to y'all for getting that next step, which kind of pigeonholed us for a minute. But I'm glad to see that, like, man, you're crushing it right now. Like I'm excited for this conversation. I'm excited to like get into the history of it and how all these things have come to fruition for you. So let's just take it back, man. Like, how was it growing up for you? How did like music and fashion become a part of your early world early on?
To be honest with you, bro, it was I think I always had music and creativity around me. That's really what it was. And at first, I mean, my mom tells me stories about when I was in the womb actually just moving to certain songs. And I think, rhythm has kind of always been there, whether it was a pop. I think at the time when she was pregnant, like Madonna was going off, but then we also had um the Spanish, because I'm Latino, so we had like the Luis Miguel and like, just a lot of different influences. But I guess to answer your question, when it came to hip hop, my first introduction to that was actually um I was actually talking to my aunt. My aunt was the first one to put me on, and she was crazy big on Bone Thugs and Harmony. And I think it was because they had that like they were rapping, but at the same time they were harmonizing. And that was kind of like the first of its kind, really. So I think it was that. And then ironically enough, Bone Thugs introduced me to Tupac and Biggie.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a whole different chapter. But this same aunt that I'm talking about, she was also a designer, a fashion designer. She went to school at LA Trade Tech. And I had older cousins as well, huge family. So I think that was kind of like my introduction. And then after, being exposed to all these different I guess styles and flavors, then I was able to um kind of dissect and see what I really resonated with. I went through like the skating phase. I think we all had that with
Already had that.
the catalogs,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think it's just we're all a product of our environment, right? And so I was fortunate enough to have a lot of people around me who were able to influence me.
And then MTV, I was just about to say, how did like MTV and the music videos play a role in that? Because I feel like that was like I had a conversation with another creative, and I was sharing with them like we knew what time 106 and Park came on. We knew what time the MTV playlist started to hit. So how did music videos shape that for you too? Because now that's something you're tapping into right now. So how did that help?
Man, it was crazy. Thinking of 106 in Park, thinking of the basement when you went with, bro, it was MTV, having TRL, the countdowns. It was
Absolutely.
seeing how people on the East Coast were doing it, like how they were dressed, how they were presenting themselves. Because I think during that time when we were coming up, the East Coast was pretty much controlling culture.
Yeah.
Like got everything from New York. New York was kind of like that hub that like would then go and spread to everywhere else. Um, but yeah, man, it was crazy impactful. I remember wearing shirts that were way too big for me. I was wearing,
The
I'm wearing,
5X Pro Club long tall tees.
bro, I'm wearing sizes that I wouldn't even touch right now, which is insane. But yeah, bro. So yeah, crazy impactful. And I think, but more than anything, what it was for me, it was seeing how the art was presented,
Mm,
and like, and seeing how things could be done, the possibilities of it, be it
yeah.
out there.
Mhm.
So yeah.
So just out of curiosity, once once you left the DR and you got your scholarship to go play ball in college, that creative bug, was that still there when you were pursuing this degree, or did it kinda switch on afterwards?
Yeah, that's a great question, man. I don't think anyone's ever asked me that. It was there, bro.
Mm,
I was still a huge music fan. Still, I was finally able to afford the clothes that I wanted, right?
mhm,
Because I was able to make my own little money now, whatever. Even by getting this stipend under scholarship,
mhm.
I could still, like, okay, let me put these. If I put 2 months aside, maybe save
Yeah,
up a couple hundred over here, I could buy the next Jordan drop. I could,
yeah.
buy this Crooks and Castles sweater that I've been eyeing for a minute, going on Karmaloop or whatever. But yeah, it was there. But I think what it was just like I was able to express myself with what I wore and what I listened to,
Mhm.
rather than being creative. Because in college, as an athlete, you have to fully be in that moment, right? There's no time for you to even somewhat be an individual,
They
because you
own
have
you.
to, bro, it's a team. You have to have that team
They
mentality.
own you. Yep.
Yeah. So it was there. And ironically or unironically enough, my roommates were one of them was from Inglewood, and then two dudes from Compton, right? So they were rappers, they would write, and they would, just freestyle whatever. So like I would write some stuff, and then I mean, I'm not gonna say that I was designing or doing anything yet, but I guess, I knew what was good, and I knew
Right.
what resonated with me.
Mhm.
So yeah, so I guess it was still there, but I wasn't practicing it.
Mm. So what did you study in college?
So my major is criminal justice. Yeah. So my entire plan originally was to go into go into being a correctional officer,
Mhm.
and then maybe, helping kids out who are in trouble. That was like
Mhm.
my whole thing, like maybe being a probation officer or something like that. But yeah, things just didn't play out that way. I learned some things on how I guess the structure works, and just didn't feel like it was for me anymore. Um, and then yeah, and I was fortunate enough to go through my combine and my pro day and all that, and I got an opportunity to play football overseas in France. And that's kind of where, like, I started getting back into that creative
Mhm.
flow, because I had more time for myself. I was on a completely different time zone. So before I left to France, I started linking up with one of my boys. We were linking up on a nightly basis, really. um, he used to make beats. He was part of a rap group in college. So I'm hanging out at home now. I'm getting ready for my pro day, and I'm like, man, what's up, bro? What are you doing? Like, let's tap in. You're here. I'm here. What's up,
Right.
bro? Like, what are you up to? Um, so we would lock in, and
Mhm.
I would freestyle over the beats. And it was kind of my way to distract myself from what was going on. A lot was going on at the time. But then one night we decided, we were like, bro, let's get on Pirate Bay and download Photoshop. So we did. And that's kind of the inception of
Mhm.
everything that's transpired afterwards, bro, because it
Yeah,
is so,
yeah.
yeah. And self-taught everything. So yeah.
That's that listen, many people don't have degrees and they are just learning it as they go. And I don't knock them for trying. Like I even tell my students in class, if there's something I'm not giving you, for sure look it up because I can't know what each individual student really needs. I'm going to teach you the basics, but sometimes you might have to go out and find that little piece that's going to take it to the next level. So yeah. So, how do you think that experience being an athlete shaped how you now as shaped you now as a creative entrepreneur?
Gave me discipline more than anything.
Mm,
I'm able to structure things, and I know that if I set my mind on something and I put the time in, put the work in more than anything,
mhm,
um, it's gonna happen, right?
mhm,
And maybe if it doesn't happen exactly like I had planned for it, I'm still gonna land somewhere, near that target. Um, so yeah, so I would say discipline, hard work, and and understanding that it's a day by day process. There's no I'm at this point right now, and I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and be at, this
Yeah.
next point, this great level. Nah, with everything, you have to put the work in. It's
Mhm.
like going into the gym. You know this more than anything. It's like going into the gym. You start at a certain weight,
Yep.
but then you keep going, and it's like, okay, bet. Like you start to see progress, and it's like, okay,
Mhm.
this is promising. Let me see what happens if I continue to
Mhm.
put the work in. So, I think creativity, honestly, anything, is very synonymous with sports, and that's why I'm so grateful that my parents and my grandma was on me, to
Mhm.
join all kinds of teams because it was like, get out of the house, go do something. And
Yeah.
this was able, introduce me to teamwork, introduce me to networking, to
Mhm.
understanding your role. In a team, we all have a role, and we have to play that role in order for us all to succeed.
Yeah. So let's pivot real quick. What was that transition like? You've mentioned you went from football to criminal justice, playing overseas, getting the cracked version of Photoshop. How are you feeling throughout this whole transition of like careers, job, location, environment? How was that transition for you?
Man, a lot happened in between all that, right?
Yeah.
But yes, to answer your question, bro, I was just trying to find myself.
Mm.
Um, because I knew what being part of a collegiate football team made me, and I had to be, real straightforward, clean cut type of person. Like I said earlier, no room really for expression, no room for like
Mhm.
creativity outside of like what I'm wearing and listening to. But at this time, bro, from 2010 to 14, right? When I was in my collegiate career, there
Yeah.
was really no like individuality back then. Like if someone were trying to express themselves in some way, like no one really
Mhm.
like encouraged it. So, but yeah, so I guess afterwards I was like, okay, once I realized that football wasn't the end all for me, then I'm like, okay, bet. Like let's start stripping this character. Let's really find out who I am and what I resonate with, and
Yeah.
get back to that kid. Get back
Mhm.
to what really drove me because I was so consumed by just identifying myself with the sport. Yeah. So after when I left, to go play in France, that's when I was able to spend a lot of time alone, which is super scary too once you think about it.
Yeah.
Because being in your head is it's a
It's
scary
crazy.
place.
Yeah, it's
It's a
crazy out
scary
there. Mhm.
Fortunate enough for me, I was gifted a book by Tony Robbins. And I know it sounds crazy corny. Well, so I was gifted this book and I'm like, okay, bet, because he's a life coach, right? Like he
Right.
gives people tools in order for them to progress and get better in life.
Mhm.
And he was going on about how like this discipline and like these practices and habits, uh great self-talk is gonna
Mhm.
make you a better person. So I'm out there going through this entire transition. At the time, like the person who raised me, my great grandma had just passed away. So I'm like,
Mhm.
oh man, like it was just a lot.
Yeah.
But I was fortunate, bro, because I was able to face all of my demons there
Mhm.
and just understand like this is at the core of it all, who is Brian? And the person that came out on the other end of that was, it's helped me get to where I
Mm.
am now. So
Mm. So at what point did you start shifting towards the idea of building a brand? Like, at what point did you start to be like, "Okay, I need something else is calling me." So at what point did you feel like, "Okay, I need to shift towards this?"
yeah, so let me backtrack even. The whole reason why we were even on Photoshop was
Mhm.
because I I couldn't find anything that I identified myself with. So again, I'm in this like whole thing, like figuring out who I am. But at the time, really, it was just skating brands like Supreme, Stussy, um, and maybe like LRG was still around doing their thing, Crooks and Castles, but they were kind of dying out a little bit.
Diamond Supply. I think it was Diamond, Hundreds. I'm thinking about all the Fairfax spots. Diamond, Hundreds, Ruvka, RVCA, they were there. Yeah.
Okay, so man, yeah, you're right. But Diamond was still, but they were all based around skate, right?
Got you.
To me, at least, that's the way I felt.
Mhm.
And then there was this other brand that was starting to brew, kind of get some momentum, which was Born and Raised during
Mhm.
like the 15, 16 years. But then they identified with like this crazy LA culture, and
Mhm.
we can't really claim LA. Like,
Right.
you know?
We the
Be,
IE.
bro. So we tell someone where we're from, and they're over here like they're gonna check us. Like, nah, bro, we not, you know. So we're like, oh man, what if I don't really identify with anyone, bro? Like I'm over here just trying to make something, happen.
Mhm.
So that always was there.
Mm.
So sure enough, we started designing, putting them on, going to Uber prints, putting them on shirts. And I remember we made probably like the first four shirts. And my boy David came back with some feedback and he was like, bro, I got some compliments on the shirt. And I'm like, what's crazy? I actually did too. Like I'm, like whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of hard. So we're like, okay, bet, put that in, store that away and just continue to work. But to answer your question, when did that concept of becoming a brand really become solid and concrete and we went for it? We got invited to an art show. We were putting up a bunch of our designs on Instagram at the time, and Instagram was super organic. And this art exchange LA, this art show reached out to us through our Instagram. So through this discipline of like making sure we have at least one or two designs up every day on a nightly basis, um, we created some momentum. They reached out and they were like, look, we love what you guys are doing. Do you guys put this on, like, do you guys print these out or do you put them on canvas pieces? Like, how does this work? So at the time, we just we like, yeah, we put them on canvas pieces, couple shirts or whatever. Nah, we had no type of plan to,
Make it till you make it. Ain't nobody mad at that.
it's fake it till you make it is right, but you gotta follow through.
Mhm.
As long as you have a plan to follow through and present something that's real, man, there's no problem with it. So yeah, so we did that. So we booked the show in December, ended up printing I want to say maybe like 20 prints that we put in frames, a couple canvas pieces that we ordered. Did the show, invited a bunch of friends, family, got crazy love. And then maybe did like one jacket. Um, so that was dope. Met some kids from San Diego State. They ended up like loving what we had going on, invited us out to one of their shows. Fortunately enough, another friend invited us to do another collaboration art show with this brewery. Long story short, we made a hoodie that was pretty fire. These kids pulled up to that event as well, and they were like,
Child.
"Look, love what you're doing over here, but I don't care about nothing else. I just want that hoodie." So they
Well,
pulled out 100. They bought the hoodie, ran with it. Still didn't really have anything like no crazy momentum. But we knew that if we kept like building on these ideas, that something would come. And unfortunately, however you want to look at it, the pandemic we had a really solid drop during the pandemic.
mm.
And that's when that momentum really took off. And it was like, okay, bet this is real, So that
Yeah. So
that
would you
rush.
say that kind of light bulb moment of like, "Oh, snaps, we actually have something here," was like from that first big art show? Or was there something else that popped up?
Yeah, so I think I've always been good at organizing events.
Mhm.
I used to, you know, I used to throw like flyer parties. I was part of a group that we would send mass texts out and invite people to come out to the house. $5 for the guys. Bring two girls or three girls and we get it free or whatever. So I could always bring people to a location. I think that an event, was something that was very doable for us. Plus, at the time, we're 25, 26, maybe. We're like, bro, we just want to have a good time with our friends. And if
Mhm.
they can, enjoy what we have going on, even better. So yeah, all these things kind of just played out for us, bro. So after that first event in downtown, we were like, okay, this is dope. Friends came out, they were selling drinks, whatever. We're having a good time, playing our music because we're still making music. And then yeah, bro. And then that was kind of like, okay, this is fire. We can curate something here and make it our vibe.
Mm.
So that was definitely inspiring, I would say.
That's dope. Because we were talking before we jumped on, like, when I started to slowly notice is based off of, like, the spaces I was in, like, I started seeing you around the Adobe Max, and we'll talk about that, and then jumping in with Q, and I was like, "I think that's Brian," and I kept saying it over and over again, so I think what what was it like for the brand to just grow beyond just merch? Because now you're totally in a different you're still merch, but you still have your little pockets of like creativity that you're like branching out into. I mean, honestly, it feels like you're like telling stories through like every kind of little pocket you guys are stepping into, like, based off of your website, right? Like, that kind of takes you on a journey of what you guys are doing. Now, is that intentional, or is this more of, "Hey, we're just trying things out and we're gonna see what sticks?"
I think we're acting and getting into realms that we feel passionate about.
Mhm,
That's number one, right? We're not going to do anything just for the sake of doing it,
mhm,
or because there's a bag there. Like everything has to resonate and mean something to us. Uh, so going back to like coming up and watching these music videos and listening to music,
mhm.
TDE was one of the first real groups from the West Coast outside of like Snoop and Dre, right? And
Yeah.
um and Death Row, to really like put on. I mean, you can as when we were younger, there was a lot of different groups, but TDE was really the ones that like we felt were our group. You feel me? Because it
We
was like
grew up with them. We grew up
exactly,
with them. Yeah.
exactly. So yeah, so really, when No had no plans on ever working with them or anything like that, but I think naturally just going after what we feel passionate about, these things organically just lined up. And if you take your stuff serious and if you're putting in that work and dedication, that love, you're pouring love into it, it's gonna reflect. And you're gonna be in those same rooms as the people you idolize because that's all they do. They pour love into what they do and their creativity. But yeah, everything. So as far as like film and all that, that's just something that so pretty much it's crazy. I'm all over the place because I'm trying to make sure I check every box of what we do because we do so much, honestly. But it's all things that we feel passionate about, and the product
Mm.
reflects that. There's a certain standard and caliber of what we're trying to do and operate at, and I go by the saying, on a daily basis, it's like how you do one thing is how you do everything. So it's that attention to detail, making sure it's presentable, making sure there's quality behind it, and more importantly, a story that is really who we are and that we're able to bring out and tell. So yeah.
So are you guys thinking of every drop as part of this, like, larger narrative, like, or creative, expression?
What do you mean by that?
So what I mean is like a creative expression, because I feel like not all your drops are similar. They have that same kind of tone within it, like the look, the colors, the type of hats. They're not your traditional 5950. They're kind of like that 5 panel hat. Like you're very honing into these things, and you're tapping into very it's kind of like a mix of, how can I say this? Kinda like vintage and posh, if that makes sense. It's like a mix there. So that's why I said, like, are you thinking of each drop as like a larger narrative of like pirate worldwide, or is it kinda like more of a creative expression where you're just saying, "Okay, we did this, we're gonna try this. We did this, we're gonna try this."
Right. So it all starts with that pirate mentality, right? And what is that pirate mentality? It's making things happen by any means possible. That's really, that's what we stand for. Going into Pirate Bay and cracking that program in order to get here. But to answer your question, really what it is giving our own interpretation of everything that we touch,
Mm,
right? So we just had a Preakness drop, which is it was the 150th anniversary of this the horse race. Is part of the Triple Crown that happens in
yeah.
Baltimore, Maryland. But that's just it's everything that we go into is giving it our own flavor to it, right? So
Mhm.
when we go into these spaces, we want to make sure that because we've either been inspired by it in a way or another,
Yeah.
one way or another, then we're able to give it our flavor. But as far as like it all tying into um or like a timeline story, not necessarily. What does hit on that is our By Any Means series, and our
Mhm.
By Any Means series is pretty much like tapping in with creatives and athletes, and getting their By Any Means story, which pretty much everyone has one, right? We've all had to overcome certain things. We've all
Yeah.
had to, um, if we faced things that shaped us into who we are, and that's what makes you a pirate. You decided to hone in and focus up, and that's now you're here. You made it happen. We're talking to you for a reason. You're a pirate. We're all pirates. We're all making something happen. I'm sure there's people out there right now who are, no one knows the battles they're going through, but they're finding
Mhm.
ways to stay true and continue on.
It's actually kinda I would say, let me see, how can I think of it? I think it's very creative how you flip pirate because when people hear it, it's the negative connotation. But the way you just like elegantly described it, it sounds like this more, I don't know, like a fluid community that you want people to like stand behind. So was that intentional to try to flip that negative into a positive, or was that something that just happened organically for your brand?
Man, we've been very fortunate that things just kind of flow, man. Like,
Mm,
so even the that nostalgic, I'm forgetting the exact term that you used with the feel of our product, but that inspiration comes from thrifting. So it's working with what you have,
mhm.
really. And maybe at first there was this like attitude or intention of kind of being like, nah, I'm a pirate. Like I'm getting this, and I'm taking this and I'm gonna make something of my own from it,
Right.
but it's organically turned into, no, what we're doing is we're, you know, getting the cards that we're dealt and we're trying to, just go ahead and make the best out of the situation. Right. So that's really what it is, man. Even keeping the same texture with the hats, keeping the 5 panels, the snapbacks, that comes from, being resourceful, having to work with what we have and building. Um
Mhm.
and then we're constantly trying to grow as well and get better as a company. So who knows what kind of product we'll come out with next. We still want to make sure that it's ours though, and it still has that texture and feel. But no, it's something that's happened so beautifully and naturally. Flipping that whole narrative of pirates are negative or they went out and they did all kinds of things
They
to.
stole, they plunder, they did all that stuff. So that's why I was like, okay, that I was curious about that because I was like, it didn't cross my mind until you broke it down on what pirate meant to you and what it means to the community and brand that you're trying to um, pull together.
Because as a self-made entrepreneur, like someone who's out there really working,
Mhm,
it's you have to break the rules sometimes, man.
mhm.
Like you can't play within the lines always. Like in order for you
Right.
to really sometimes I'm maybe I need to get out of work a little early in order to make it to this event and like get this
Mhm,
popping off. Maybe I need to go in a Pirate Bay and get this a cracked version, which
mhm.
some would call it, whatever they want to call it, but we call that being resourceful and
Yep.
making it happen. So
Yeah. 100%. Listen, I did it the same way. I've told this story many a times on here. Met a dude on Craigslist and we met up at a KFC and he put it on my computer, put them codes in, and he was like, you just can't upgrade it. That's it. You just can't get to the latest stuff. So
yes,
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah,
100%.
so man,
So something else I was curious about when I was looking through your catalog of like clothes and ideas and film, who determines the creative outcome for each, I would say, section or series or drop? Is it like a community pool, or is it kind of like you have a pin board of like just everybody gets out an idea and you just pull one and say, okay, let's execute on this?
yeah, bro, we're all designers in here. So
Mhm,
for the most part, it's four of us that are throwing up shots, and
mhm,
uh, and we're there's freeform, there's a Dropbox that we're all in,
mhm,
and it's let's go, let's contribute to it. This is the concept, this is the idea that we're building on now, and then we get together, we have design sessions, and we alter certain things when we need to, or we just have a conversation and we're like, look, how do you feel about this? I love it. Maybe you need to switch, one of these things from this particular design, and then we move forward.
mhm.
As long as we all feel confident about what we're putting out,
Yeah.
then it's going out. And
Mhm.
as long as like our means and resources are there to make it happen, we're gonna make it happen.
Oh,
Um, that's the beauty of it, bro. That's honestly, I think the key to what we have going on is that man, we're a team, bro.
mm,
We're all throwing ideas, and we're seeing what sticks. And
mm,
there's been some shots that haven't really, gone crazy,
mhm.
but and even now,
Yeah.
like walking in and out of the office. But yeah, bro, it's a team effort, bro. And we feel strong about, our taste. And that's
Mhm.
more important than anything. Rick Rubin says it best. I don't know anything, but I trust my taste. So yeah.
So curious, what's your taste? Because based off of it, it's very, I feel the vintage vibe. So where are you guys pulling this like creativity from? Is it through travel? Is it through art galleries? Is it through vintage lookbooks? Is it through like tapestries? Like, because a lot of the stuff I'm seeing like through your website, it gives this very much uh thrift feel, but if it get but it's more polished. So I'm just curious, where do you pull your inspiration and creativity from when you're working in this space?
Everything, bro.
Mhm,
Everything you touched on, honestly. So we will, it's crazy. So one of my boys, partners, Mike, he has the schooling behind. So he went to school
mhm,
for products, sports products, really.
mhm,
And he worked for Under Armour for a little bit.
mhm,
Um, but he was kind of the one that brought more of like the structure. Um, and then that being I guess I don't know, more resourceful and going into these old catalogs and doing research on what an Arc'teryx drop from like I don't know 10, 15 years ago looks like and
mhm,
that type of thing. But yeah, but the inspiration is drawn from everywhere. For me personally, it's life. Something that I saw at a thrift store or a way that Persian rugs made me feel when I was a kid. You know,
yeah,
something that I would aspire to, something that I saw in a Rolex catalog, maybe, um, I don't know, in the '90s or something. All this nostalgia, this higher luxury that we aspire to
mhm,
all get to at one point. But now we're just making it ours and making it affordable. So
yeah.
yeah,
Okay, that's dope. I know some of the people listening probably don't know what we're talking about because they visually are probably just hearing about you and getting out here, but can you just break down visually for our listeners what it is that your brand is very intentional about with its look?
making quality products and telling meaningful stories. That is priority number one, right? And then giving an affordable luxury feel. So feeling confident, knowing that what you're wearing is stamping that idea of you making something happen out of nothing. And
Yeah.
yeah, so definitely that.
Man, that's dope. Proud of you, man. You got something on your hands here. That's amazing. I'm gonna show it. We're gonna pull it up a little later so you can walk us through your website. But man, you got some heat here, man. All right, let's take a pivot real quick.
Yeah.
Let's talk about AI and execution because I told you I saw you on the Adobe commercial. I was like, "This dude, right? Is this Adobe? Yeah, this is an Adobe commercial." So you once said, "The more information we can access, the richer our ideas." What kinds of things are feeding into that for you? Like, what things are you saying, "Okay, this is rich. I need this. I need this." So what things are that for you?
Taking maybe taking a report on you know, the trends that are coming up, the trends that are happening right now, whether they be on social media, fashion trends, feeding that into Acrobat and then getting, the five strongest points from it. Um, Maybe giving it uh, an interview.
Mhm,
There was an interview that I got sent recently on Virgil and the relationship he had with his right hand man. So taking that information and putting it in there. There's a lot going on. We're all wearing different hats. A lot of different hats here. So it's if I can you know take a report like that, maybe a 90-page report or a book on something that I'm interested in, and feed it into a program and maybe get the spark notes from it. It's something that I now have at least I don't want to say an understanding, but at least I have a grasp
Yeah,
on
I was
what
gonna
this.
say like a general grasp of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think that's really what it is, man. I'm treating AI as my assistant. I'm not letting it think for me. I'm not none of that. For me, it's how can I make what I'm doing more efficient? That's
Mhm,
really what it is. And I'm asking it the right questions because that's super important as well.
mhm.
And yeah, that's what it comes down to.
So, first question, I probably should have asked you, being a graphic design teacher, Adobe, how did that connection come about, man?
The relationship with Adobe,
Yeah.
bro, it was so random. They were looking for small business owners who had a meaningful or powerful story.
Mhm.
and they reached out, and that's really it. There's no like crazy story behind it. They just, that's really it, bro. And I think they were just gathering, as many stories as they possibly could. This third party was,
Mhm.
and then they presented it to the client, which would be Adobe, and they really really liked what we had going on.
Mhm.
Reached out, and they came out to shoot for 2 days, and um yeah, that team was just super dope to work with, and we
That's fire.
as a pod, you feel me?
Mhm.
And it was fire. And since then, we just continue to build this relationship, and yeah, it's been beautiful.
Yeah, can you share about your experience at Adobe Max? For
It's
for
amazing.
for a small brand that what would you say? How many years out? 6? 5? 6?
Yeah, about strong, probably about 5. Yes, 5 or
Strong
6.
5 years out, and now you are speaking at Adobe Max. How is that feeling for you right now? Like, how was that when they reached out and say, "Yo, we want you to be a speaker for us?"
Yeah, honestly, unreal. Uh,
I believe it.
because of the beginning, right?
Mhm.
Because we were pirating this program,
Yeah.
and we yeah, it's just crazy how life is full circle in that
Mhm.
sense. But yeah, surreal, um, extremely humbling, um, and yeah, just so grateful to be there with all these bright minds and seeing all the technologies that they had coming out, um, and being able to share, being able to converse, and yeah, it's beautiful when you're in a space where creativity is encouraged,
Mm.
100%.
So when you're in this space of using Adobe, like the AI and that software, do you ever feel yourself getting tempted to be just like, let me just see what this does and press it and be like, damn? Or do you kind of reserve that, that excitement? Because I know that, like with my students, if I say, hey, we're going to use AI, them, man, they throwing everything at it. And I'm like, wait, calm down. Let me just show you what we're doing with it. So how do you do that for you? How does that work for you?
I think I'm the same, bro. Like I wanna see his capabilities, right?
You know.
Give me the craziest thing. I'm really just pushing the boundaries. I think that's actually a great way uh to kind of summarize my way of thinking. And life for me in general is just like, yo, let's see how far I can, get away with pushing the boundaries. So with AI, even I'm like, okay, bet I'm gonna shoot this at it and let's see what it comes out with.
Mhm.
And it's been funny, bro, because some of the things you get back, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, you completely missed the mark. Or you're like, what?
It's like
Uh,
sometimes they be like thumbs down. I'd be like, you need to put a button next to it that says hell no. Just say hell
exactly.
no.
No, just stop. Never again.
Yeah, 100%. Oh my gosh, man.
But yeah, bro, it's beautiful, man,
Mhm.
and it's extremely helpful too for certain things,
Mhm.
So yeah, I
So,
love it.
how does AI show up in your process? I know you said you use it as an assistant. You use it
Mhm.
to help you like pull through so many of these like heavy intensive labor intensive documents you got to get through. But how else does it show up in your process?
So speaking of design, um, specifically,
Mhm.
speaking of design specifically, it saves me time, bro. So there's certain things where I'm like, okay, let me just lasso this up real quick and be like, yo, just remove this, take this out of the picture.
Mhm.
And so in that way, definitely time saving. Yeah, and then other than that, I mean, the research process, a- asking it for feedback,
Mm.
that's one of the things too. Like I'll, give it a picture, and then ask, is this, or what would you change from this, or whatever you're feeling at that moment, or whatever you're trying to get out of it. Yeah, I would say that's
Mm.
it.
Okay. So do you think since you've been in this space using AI, how does it do you think it's going to shift your idea on what creativity is going to be in the future?
I think it's this crazy tool that no one should be ignoring and should be doing their best to try and learn as much as possible because it's inevitable. If you're not utilizing these tools, you're gonna fall behind,
Mhm.
because that speed is everything when it comes to business.
Yeah.
And it Yeah, so I think the people who are using it are gonna be fast, and and they're gonna be able to execute at a crazy level. So if you're not utilizing this, then get on it right now.
Mm. So do you see AI enhancing your vision or enhancing your vision for your company? Or do you guys still want to kind of hold that tactile pen to paper idea amongst the four of you?
It's gonna help reiterate what we already stand for. That's
Mhm.
what I think it's there for. I don't know if it can give us, I guess, new concepts or newer ideas or change what we stand for. But yeah, I think what it's gonna do is just gonna help us be better thinkers and serve as, that second brain or assistant that could be like, hey, have you thought about, pitching it this way or framing it in this from this
Gotcha.
perspective? So I
Yeah.
think that's more than anything. That's how I'm interpreting. That's how I'm taking it. So,
Okay, dope. So let's talk about pivot out of AI and let's talk about like culture and community. You one of the things you said is by any means.
yep,
So a big part of your Pirate's mission is to uproot and uplift first gen kids, children, creatives of color, folks from overlooked communities. Now, why is that so important for you guys?
bro, I felt like I needed that. I want to everything that I do is led by action first.
Mhm.
So for me to step out of my comfort zone and then take this on, I didn't think I was capable of it either. Like I didn't feel like this was like what my future would be, but I decided to take that step forward because I wanted to prove something to myself first and foremost, and to prove that it's possible. I have a lot of cousins, I have a lot of siblings, so if I'm doing it, I'm showing them that it's possible,
Mhm.
right? So we need this. We need examples in our communities to show that this is possible, and you don't have to get it, you know, by just doing A or B. Like there's other options that we can go down and like
Right.
get really resourceful with. And yeah, so I think more than anything, it's look, we have these opportunities presented to us as well. We have these tools that we can, get into. So yes, I think that's the most important thing for me is leading by example and showing kids that come from the same background, first gen, that it is possible that they can make something happen, and it doesn't have to be from whatever type of boxes they've been put in. They can do it their way too.
Yeah. So do you mind sharing with us what inspired the mini docu series you did by any means? Like what kinds of stories were you hoping to like highlight in that mini little series that you were creating?
Yeah, so it's an ongoing
Mhm.
thing, bro. But I think the one you're talking about in particular, it's the Igu Banduki one.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so that one, man, it's such a crazy. I feel I believe in God, man. So I think everything happens for a reason. But Igu was an intern that was interning with the shop that operates right next to us, or used to operate next to us. They're not here anymore. But he was interning with them. He's from France, Paris, and you can automatically tell this kid was just not having a great time doing what they had him doing, right? Which was insane stuff that I'm not even going to touch on because it's not even
Mm.
important. But long story short, that relationship just became extremely toxic. The kid at the time was only like 18 or maybe 19, and he just like wanted to get out of that situation. So he came running to like we formed out of a conversation, right? Just this like high and by type relationship. But as a refuge, he kind of just like, yo, let me go tap in with these guys real quick just to get away from that for a little bit.
Mhm.
And then we just kept building this relationship. Anyway, he ended up just like wanting to be around us consistently. So once it got to the point with that relationship that it wasn't really working, he was like, yo, let me just like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm gonna get sent back to France. Like, this is my internship. Like, I need this. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm studying. Fashion is my, my passion. So we're like, bet, let's see if we can work something out. You can stay with us. That ended up happening, and we felt like we wanted to tell that story, right? Like that by any means story. He's out here from a completely different country, chasing those dreams and making it happen. And like I mentioned earlier, the by any means. So from that, from telling Eagle's story, that by any means series was then developed, and and we figured everyone has a by any means story. Let's go out there and find it. Let's go out there and
Yeah.
talk to, you know, the Duncan Robinsons of the world, and like and let's see what they have. Let's see what they had to overcome in order to get to where they are now. So
Mhm.
that's really what it is. It's finding the by any means story in someone who is looked at as a successful quote unquote person,
Mhm.
right? Um, but in reality, it's just someone that never gave up, someone that's making it happen. So
Mhm. Man, that was dope. No, I watched it, and that's why I was like, I gotta ask him about it because it just seemed and felt real. Like it didn't seem like you had to come in with a script and be like, "Yo, this is it. This is." Or I know there's some technical things behind the scenes that you were shooting for 100%. I'm not ignorant of that, but it just felt I felt like, okay, this is a story he's trying to convey this some message here, and I watched it a couple of times, so I was like, oh. Okay, I'm picking it up now, but it was just done so beautifully. That's why I was just curious, man. Like, did you shoot it or did you have a team come in?
yeah, shout out to the whole squad.
Oh, wow.
Because honestly, we make so everything that you see that is on Pirate, is made and presented by Pirate. So
Man,
shout out,
hats off.
thank you, bro, thank you. This is what I
That's
mean.
amazing.
It's crazy, bro. We're all honestly, it's such a beautiful thing. We just like get together and we have these crazy ideas and we find ways in order to make it happen. Shout out to Simon. He shot Simon Dewhurst. He shot the entire thing. Everything is pretty much shot by Simon at Pirate. So yeah, so it's us, bro. Written by Pirate, executed, produced,
Mm.
everything. So man,
Keep going. Keep going. Keep
that
going.
part.
Keep going, bro. I loved it. I'm when we drop this, I'm gonna post a clip of it if you don't mind, so people can see
Of
it
course.
and
Yeah.
just see what I saw and what I got from it. Man, this is crazy. So let's just touch on all these mediums real quick. How does all these mediums from fashion, music, film, like the just beautiful visuals you guys are just pulling and making, how do all these mediums work together? Like it's effortless because we've seen some people try to take all of it and it turns into a little bit of shit. Let's just be honest. But you're taking something and it's all flowing together in this creative, like, I hate to say this word, creative stew that is building the pirate universe. So, how do all these different mediums just work together for you guys?
Man, I think it's by being honest with ourselves first and foremost. Like there's no yes men here. Like if something is not working for one of us, then it's gonna be known. And we're gonna have to find a way to, you know, make it work for everyone or change whatever we need to change in order for it to be real. But I
Mhm,
think that's really the key ingredient, man. It's
mhm,
staying real, having people around you that are willing to be honest with you. Because honesty is one thing that's not talked about enough, bro. Like if you have someone on your team that is maybe they've been, maybe it's the Kobe. Maybe it's the dude
yeah,
who's always like getting it done, and sometimes Kobe's do slack. Sometimes MJ's do slack a little bit. LeBron's do slack. It's like, okay, who's gonna tell them? And we're
right.
fortunate enough to have people around that are real. The whole squad is super real with each other.
That's dope.
We've noticed, and I think that comes from us knowing each other for so long, being
Mhm,
friends first, and
mhm,
but more importantly, just being honest with yourself too, man. Like you,
mhm,
that's it. And it's insane, bro. It's insane how life kind of has happened for us. But yeah,
mhm.
it's extremely extremely dope.
Damn, bro. Yeah, yeah, keep doing it. Y'all got something over there that's gonna be crazy, and it's still going up. So I'm happy to see it and follow it. So I like to break up our conversation a little bit with this just quick fire fun round where you
Okay,
just give some of the best ideas that come to mind. Okay.
okay,
So
bet.
first one, favorite album to design to.
It changes consistently. Uh, but just off the strength, Blue Lips, Spool
Mhm.
Boy,
Okay.
crazy, super. I love it, man. Super creative, and I think the reason why I love it the most. Been a Schoolboy fan forever, but you hear a mature sound from him, and it's
Yes.
and he's still keeping it very artistic and real.
Mhm.
So yeah,
So let's before we jump off of that, I don't is it a collaboration with Schoolboy that you guys are working on? I don't know. I know you can't tell us. I know you can't tell us, but I've seen him in many of your work and photos and stuff, and he's rocking your gear. So how does that relationship come to fruition and how do you keep it just because some people can keep it very like this is business, but I feel like he honest to God respects your guys' vision and input. Because as we know, and as many people have seen Q come up, he's not a big, have a ton of dudes around him. he's not that. He's very kind of to himself. He does his job. He loves his daughter. He's a soccer dad. So it's kind of like, how are you guys that how are you guys able to bring that same kind of family feel to him to make him feel comfortable enough to let you into his circle?
This is what I mean when I talk about God, bro. It happened organically. He said he came across one of our ads on Instagram, immediately resonated with what was being presented,
Mhm.
made a purchase because we're crazy fans. Just mind you, like, don't get no, like
Yeah.
we're we're so like delved into this and
Yeah, yeah.
appreciate the work so much that we knew his like legal name. So once we saw his name pop through that screen, bro, we're like, wait, what? This can't be. So sure enough, it was, man. We took a shot in the dark and we sent out an extra pack. And then sure enough, bro just started popping out at different tournaments and just giving us crazy love. So at that point, we felt comfortable enough to be like, okay, bet, like we can reach out.
Mhm.
And
Dope,
it's just
man.
it's been real, man. It's been real since. But there is no official collaboration. He's done everything off the strength, off the love, and
Mm.
it's such a beautiful thing, bro. We've had the opportunity to chop it up, and
Mm.
he gives us you know mad kudos and love, and we feel extremely honored for that, bro. Same thing with Dreamville. Dreamville is like something that happened extremely organically, team
Mhm.
nothing. We did have an official collaboration with them, which is our only collaboration that we've had to date.
Mm.
Um,
Dope.
but extremely organic as well, bro. And mind you, like I don't think y'all understand, like we're crazy hip hop fans. Like we're crazy
Mm.
TDE, like J. Cole, like what we grew up with these guys. Like it's insane. So this is it's insane. It's wild, bro. And
Yeah, yeah. That's dope. All right, so let's get back to the questions. I had to detour for a minute because we were talking about it earlier. Um, Dream collab, living or dead?
man, I'm gonna put the screen up a little bit so you see who this is right here. This is Nip up there. That's
Yeah.
Nip's a collaboration with the marathon. That
Mm.
would be crazy. And specifically Nip, because Nip was super important. He dropped the marathon continues in 2010. And at that point, I was on my football grind, but it resonated so crazy. And I never thought, that I would be, I'm not comparing anything, but like in that same situation where like you have to make things happen. The marathon does continue. By any means possible. So yeah, Nip is the answer.
Okay, so this is gonna pull you into your hip hop bag. Most
Okay.
slept on artists.
Slept on artist right now.
Mhm.
Okay, so when I first think of that, I want to say 1999, Right the Future. These are some crazy, incredibly talented kids
Mhm.
from the Bay. Absol is the most slept on artist, I'll say.
Ooh, give it a
Yeah.
little bit. Give us a little bit. Why so?
Just go listen to Control System and then come back.
Yep. Yep. I was hoping you were gonna say that because I was gonna say many people are like, oh, why is this such a enigma or this ghostly thing about Ab-Soul? I was like, you haven't heard Control System, obviously.
Oh man.
They have
Nah.
they have
Yeah. No. You have to go into realms to understand what he's talking about.
Yes, yes. All right, let's finish with this one. Creativity is
Everything. Expression. Um, life.
so Ryan, we've been cooking, man. Just I'm so happy for you, brother. Just to see you come up. Like I literally saw you grow up. It is like now you're this this phenom of a man, and I am just so proud of you and everything your brand is doing with your team of brothers over there. I just want to encourage you and give you your flowers, man, because that you guys are working on something crazy, and I'm so excited to just watch and just partake in it. So,
Thank you, my brother. That means a lot, honestly. And
uh,
likewise, bro. Likewise. I don't know, bro, if I never get to say this, or I haven't had the opportunity to say it, man, you don't understand how much we looked up to you guys growing up. So
that's
big
crazy,
fees, bro. And I'm
man.
grateful to be in this position with,
Yeah,
being able to talk to you. So
yeah, we appreciate that, man. I appreciate it too. So, what's next, man? Anything in the works? Drops, collabs, creative direction? What's happening for you guys?
oh man, bro, we've been so fortunate to be in a position where we're collaborating with the Getty Museum. So
Wow,
that's next for us, bro. So man, super grateful, but it is a lot of work, and we're putting in the work right now for it. In order to give you guys something that's super dope. But yeah, the Getty has, they want to be more involved with the community. They want to get, kids like you and I opportunities. So they've asked us to use them as our first retail space. So it's crazy, bro.
At the Getty.
Yeah, man.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. I love that for you, bro. Oh shit, that's so crazy. Oh, that's so beautiful, man. So, where do you see the brand 5, 10 years down the line? What do you want Pirate to be in that space?
Safe space for people to be themselves and to make their dreams come to life. And every realm and aspect that could entail, honestly. Hopefully, you feel the same way we feel about it. So yeah.
Man, and lastly, if you could give any advice to the younger version of yourself or someone listening right now who's thinking about making that pivot because you did it. We talked about it earlier, man. You was pivoting like you was hitting them cone drills out there. You had to make them pivots. What would you say to that person or what would you say to your younger self knowing what you know now and knowing where you are now?
Trust yourself and trust that instinct. That gut feeling is everything. Go for it. Don't second guess it. Just make it happen.
Yes. Bryan, where can the people find you, find your brand, find your company? Please share with us.
You can find me on Instagram. You can find the brand on Instagram, www.pirateworldwide.com. Instagram is at Pirate Worldwide. Me personally is going to be B0RYAN online. And yeah, and if you guys have any questions or anything, I can give my email over to you and you can maybe plug that in. So
Oh, most definitely, most definitely. So before I let you up off of here, I'm going to share the your website so that people can so you can just share with them. And here we go. This is it. So for the people watching, this is Pirate. Bryan, take it away. If there's any place you want me to click on and share, let's do that.
So it's a treasure chest. So honestly, I would love for everyone who taps into the brand to go in there and click on every single tab and discover what you resonate with the most. There's a lot of things in there. This is our last main drop that we had. We also had one with Tyler Wade from the San Diego Padres that touches on mental health and how important that is for athletes. But yeah, man, it's just so much in there that I would love for everyone to kind of just go in there and discover it on their own.
Okay. Okay. Well, you guys, thank you so much for listening to this podcast. Bryan, you're a blessing, man. Big ups to you. I'm so excited to see where you guys are going. And this is the Art School Graduate Podcast. We'll catch y'all later. Peace.
Thank you, bro.